Welcome back, everyone, to the third and final of our one-on-one sessions with the remaining group. This time we will feature on our everyone's favorite Yazarian in the group, as he's the only Yazarian in the group, Thorga, as he completes what he did over his summer vacation. Thorga has been allowed to, he's been kind of cleared. It's been a few months. He's made no moves to communicate with anyone. So, the Zank who are watching all of you closely have agreed to let you take a 6-week vacation from, I guess, confinement, as long as you don't try and contact Starlaw or any of the authorities, and just generally keep a low profile. They're fine letting you off the leash a little bit. So you have made arrangements with Jardax Dakaran, the Streel agent, the Yazarian Streel agent that you have seen periodically since getting into a gunfight with her group several months back.
Yep.
And you've both shared a lot. Well, you have a love of hover cycles, and whereas she has a love of travel, and she's actually a bit of a foodie. So you have plotted a course from one coast of Morlowvia, which is the oblong continent of Circe, across the massive mountain range in the middle of the continent to the opposite coast of Morlowvia. And the route she has chosen are all like a few days apart. They're all like big food centers, like market towns and garden towns that are famous. I guess it'd be like, this is the garlic capital of Circe, and here is the watermelon capital of, all these places, wine country, the best coffee, but sci-fi and so it's basically, it'll probably take you a month if you just drove nonstop, but you're planning to stop at places for a couple of days. Carry minimal supplies, hit roadsides, go to food festivals, and just basically enjoy yourself. So you and Jardax are doing that for several weeks. You're about halfway through your trip. And you find that, she's a lot more laid back when she's not with her team. The last time you went on a date with her, some of her people were around, but now she's really let her hair down. But she's come as if all hell were to break loose. She'd be ready to go in a moment. Like, she does have a laser pistol strapped on her hip. Most people in Solar Miner have in Solar Miner have some kind of sidearm. But you also know that in her saddlebag she's got her laser rifle kind of half disassembled and ready to go should she need it. In conversation, it's come up a few times that if this relationship were to solidify, what would that mean, as you are from two different clans?
That is always an issue.
She says that she knows that your clan is very known for being, the upstanding do-gooders of the Yazarians. She said, how is your family going to feel you bringing home a girl from Clan Norstro? Or from Clan Norso?
Depends on the age of them, I would say. The older ones might have a little bit of an issue. I can try to smooth things out. They respect me. The younger ones, they're a little more understanding than the older ones. We can
She says, don't get me wrong, I'm fine with this just being what it is. that we enjoy the summer, we enjoy each other's conversation, company. We have our adventure here and there. And if that's all it is, that's fine. But if it gets any more serious than that, we need to have a real conversation, because it's not just what our families are going to think. What if there are children and they're brought up, interclan children? They'll be outcasts. Is that something that, is going to be difficult for us to deal with? Is that fair to them? She says, these are, I don't mean to sound, I don't mean to be a downer, but
yeah, she's bringing it up a little early, but let her talk.
Well, she says, I just want to set my expectations.
Yep. Well,
so let's see how the trip goes, and let's have the conversation at the other end. And just because we have the conversation, that's fine. So after the third week, you're approaching the mountain range that separates the continent, and you are at a truck stop, and you're filling up on fluids and snacks. It's looking like there aren't any in the mountains. They're going to be very small villages. So it would be kind of for a few days, it would be either you camp out or you knock on somebody's farmhouse or plantation, or village, and see if somebody would put you up. Because, these are now into the very rural areas, but you're heading to an area that is supposed to have, some of the best. There's a fruit that's kind of like a cross between a honeydew melon and a coconut, called a Kasan. It's supposed to have the best Kasan in the system, so she wants to go there. But while you're at this truck stop, you see a pair of humans, both male. They look very similar, so you're pretty sure they're father and son. They're by this ground truck, ground transport, and they're talking to a few people, and they appear to be very concerned. And then the younger of the two takes notice of you and Jardax. And I'm guessing you're in your getup for when you ride. You're in your kind of leathers with the spikes.
Yep, the helmet and all that. Yep.
Right. And she's got the laser pistol clearly displayed. So the younger of the two humans comes over to both of you, Thorag, and says, excuse me, you wouldn't be any chance heading down Route 180, and that is the route you're actually going.
We could be. That seems to be the way we're heading. What's up?
He says, I was wondering if the two of you would be for hire. We're heading up the road a bit in that direction towards this town called a plantation village called Zen'Java. And we've heard that some transports have been attacked trying to enter the town. I ride shotgun for my dad while he drives, but if there's a concerted pursuit, I wouldn't mind throwing a few extra credits to have you guys pace our truck for the next day. And once we get to Zen'Java, I can pay you. I can pay you 50 credits now, and 100 credits when we reach Zen'Java.
I'll look at her and see what she thinks. She's right there, I'm assuming, beside me.
She smirks and shrugs and says to you in Yazarian, "We are going that way anyway, and while we don't really need the money, it could be fun if they are going to get attacked by bandits.
Yep. Well, okay. I'll nod and I'll turn to them and say, hold on to your money for now. We're heading that way anyways. Don't mind helping out a fellow traveler. What's how far along is it?
I said it's about 9 hours up the road. They should get there by nightfall.
Okay. Okay.
You could probably make it in 5 because you're on cycles and they're on a truck.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's slows us down a little bit, but that's okay. We're on vacation. We got some time.
Yeah, she pulls up a map on the Chronochromes, and you guys review it, and you see it's going to maybe tack a day on your ride because it's kind of off a side road, but it is kind of in the direction, so it's not that big a deal. Okay, so the father comes over and says, thank you. My son Kenneth says that you're going to be shadowing the truck. We really appreciate it. We've got mostly medical supplies and some staples for this town. They've had some supply issues. Apparently, there are some rough sorts blocking access to the road, but we've been paid hazard pay to get there. I thought my son and I would be enough, but from what we're hearing, you know, the last transport was actually shot up pretty bad. So we're hoping with some escorts that'll deter anyone.
Okay. Any idea about the attackers? Any? Like
no, very little actually. All I know is that we've been told that they're kind of watching the roads leading into Zen'Java, and they're either forcing people to turn back or they're trying to stop them.
Okay. Are all the attacks taking place in the same general area, or are they just along the road?
There have only been 2, but they put out word that Zen'Java is now off limits until further notice. But okay. we've got a supply of urgently needed supplies there, so we don't want to let our client down.
Seems reasonable.
All right, so you head out into the mountains. You're forced to slow it down because the truck can't keep up, and a lot of these roads are twisty, and they get narrow in places. But you know, compared to what you saw in Ventura, these roads are a dream. You know. So I'm going to roll for her.
Okay.
And by the way, I'm rolling everything for her. So
sure.
If she dies in the adventure, that's going to actually happen. We'll just let fate decide.
Yep.
So give me a perception roll.
That's a 23, so that would be a pass.
Hers was a 55, and that would be a fail. So as the truck, are you escorting the truck? Are you kind of to one side, the other side? Are you shadowing it? How?
Well, they said shadowing, but I think, is it flat land on either side?
No,
of the truck?
It's cliff face, and then a wide shoulder that slopes downhill.
Okay, well, I would say
you probably got like 30 meters off the side of the road. It's not like a sheer drop, you know.
Okay. So I'd say we want to be able to see ahead and back. So maybe we're alternating, like something like that, back and forth, so that we're keeping an eye ahead in straight stretches or watching the back when it's twisty.
Okay, as you kind of pull to the side and ahead a bit, you see that at one point where the shoulder stretches, you catch sign of a cunningly concealed blind on the side of the road.
Do we have communications with the truck?
Yes.
Okay.
You guys are about an hour outside of Zen'Java.
Okay, well, maybe we should tell them slow down for a second and tell them what we see. Because if they're going at their full speed, it's not like they can bust on through this kind of thing. Mention it to her if she hasn't seen it yet. How far away is it? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You guys are approaching it at a pretty quick speed. He starts slowing down. When the truck starts slowing down, do you guys slow down or do you pull ahead of it?
I'd say one of us should pull ahead and one should sort of stay off to the side to give it cover, so it looks like there's only one of us with the truck, if that's possible.
Okay, she starts slowing down, and you see she starts reaching into her saddlebag.
Okay, well, I probably am going to do the same thing. I don't know what I've got with me. I've got so much gear. Well, I definitely would have my auto rifle with me.
Okay.
I think that makes sense. So I'll, yeah, pull out my
Okay, so were you pulling ahead and she was falling back, or?
Yeah, I'd say let's do that, yeah.
Okay, so as you pull ahead and she falls back, the disruption of your movement, you know, the truck slowing, one of the cycles slowing, the other, you know, pacing ahead. You start pulling towards the blind when you hear the rev of a pair of ground cycles, and they pull out into the road, and they kind of, you know, skid to face you. And they don't quite block the road, but they're kind of in the road ahead of you and facing you, and they're kind of, give me 1 second. It is a pair of humans. One of them has they're both, you know, they have military skin suits and gas masks and helmets. And one of them puts out a hand for the truck to stop. Mm-hmm. They're both armed. They both have sidearms. You can't tell what they are at this distance.
Have they got the weapons drawn?
Not yet.
Okay. I'll comment to her to stay out of sight. If she
they've seen her because you guys were riding up on the road.
Okay. All right. Okay.
The truck. You hear the guy, the trucker, says, "They're not police, so there's no way I'm stopping."
All right.
And he picks up speed. Do you keep ahead of him, or do you let him go first and see what these guys do? Like he starts. If he's going to push it, yeah. He starts racing kind of to pull alongside you, but you can easily pull ahead of him.
I'm going to let him go. I'm going to let him go ahead of me, and I'll kick off to the one side if she's on the other side of the truck. And try to
okay, as they pull ahead of you, these guys look at you suspiciously, but then start the bikes and start after the truck, and they both pull weapons. And one of them goes on like a throat mic loudspeaker. Stop the truck! Stop the truck now!
Is it a direction you better do this, or we're trying to help you? We should. It's probably not that, right? So
it seems menacing, and
okay. That's what
you now see that they've both got electrostunners.
All right. Well, they can take out the truck's engine, I'm guessing,
or stun the driver or kill the driver. Right. They're okay. Well, they do a lot of damage. They're short range, but they do a lot of damage. So they're pulling alongside the cab, one on either side. What do you want to do?
I'll just say we're ranged for the auto rifle, I'm assuming. So I'm going to shoot at him.
Okay.
On a moving vehicle. Sure.
All right. So that's going to be. Okay, so the target is in a moving vehicle, and the attacker is in a moving vehicle. So that's going to be minus 20 to your roll. It's minus 10 and minus 10.
So if I'm an auto rifle, do I roll once or do I roll multiple times? How does
It depends if it's a burst. If it's a burst, you roll once, and if it's or you can fire 3 individual shots.
Burst makes more sense for the situation.
All right, so that takes care of that cancels out the penalty.
There's a 15.
Okay, so give me. Are we going for one or both of these guys? Actually, you can only go for one because
one makes sense.
they've flanked. They've gone to the sides of the truck.
Yeah, one makes more sense.
Okay, so give me 5d10 points of damage.
All right. 28.
Okay, he has a skin suit, so that absorbs some of it, but 14 points of damage is nothing to sneeze at. Jardax actually finishes assembling her laser rifle.
Yep.
And you get to a part of the road where there's a bit of a straightaway, and she slams the brakes, and starts to shoulder from, she doesn't want to fire while she's moving. So she'll be firing next round. Okay. The guy you did not shoot at fires the electro-stunner at the cab, misses. The kid inside fires his shotgun out of the window, hitting. Hitting once, missing once, doing only 5 points of damage after the skin suit.
Okay.
Okay, so the guy that you hit one second.
Yep.
Okay, so the guy that you hit, he kind of breaks the bike so that you start to close with him, and he hurls something at you, but that's the wrong dice. So 22. He has thrown weapons at 45. You're on a moving vehicle, so that's 25. He stopped moving, so he's not on a moving vehicle.
Uh-oh.
So you are suddenly in the object falls right in front of the bike and bursts, and you're suddenly enclosed in a cloud of doze gas.
Oh, crap. Okay.
Make a stamina check to resist.
No, that's an 88. I did not resist that.
Okay. Make a reaction speed check.
What am I rolling against for that?
Yeah.
That's a 42.
Okay, as you feel yourself start to go down, you make your reaction speed check?
Yep, by 3.
Okay, you immediately, almost like you start to feel woozy. You like slam the handbrake and you start turning the wheel. So as you're passing out, you're not on a moving bike passing out. You were able to feel yourself throw woozy and put yourself into a flat spin. Okay, so you come to a few minutes later, and she's got like a stim dose. She's like hit you with it and woken you up. So your bike's all scratched up. She looks angry and panicked. You smell smoke. And you look to see one of the two bikes is just a flaming wreck, and the truck is like way down the road, and the other bike is firing on it with an electrostunner. Oh, and she's like pulling you to your feet.
Up. Okay.
And she screams into your face, "You good?"
Good. Let's
okay. Go. She as soon as you're like steady on your feet, she tosses you your rifle and she heads off after the bike. She's got the laser rifle slung and she's got the laser pistol in her hand. So give me a drive. Give me a hover vehicle roll.
That's a 13, so I'm good.
All right, so you floor it and quickly close on the fleeing truck and the guy with the electrostunner.
It probably goes, doesn't really make a rumble.
So you're in range to fire the auto rifle, but you're not that close. I don't know if you want to get closer.
I'll keep going to get closer. I want a good shot on this guy.
Okay, so he's going to fire at the driver with the electrostunner. 33. He hits. The guy rolls a 92, slumps over. The truck... every cat wants to jump up here today. The truck starts to jackknife. The kid rolls a 17 to take the wheel, but the truck seems like it's going to stop. It like fishtailed and almost jackknifed because the guy stunned the father.
Right.
So what do you do?
Well, if I've closed enough distance, I'm going to fire at the guy.
Okay, go right ahead.
Another burst. That's a 45. I need a more than a 4. I need a 43. Shoot. Can I spend luck?
So
just joking.
No, I wish we had luck spending in Star Frontier. Okay, so you fire a burst from the auto rifle, missed. She fires the laser pistol on setting 5 and hits. Doing 34 points, of which he has no defense for.
Wow.
So he gets a hole blown through him. And automatic weapon fire spraying the road all around him. He's alone. You guys are both up. So he is going to gun the cycle off-road and try and escape the scene through the woods. You know, through basically the 30-meter down the mountain kind of thing. So he's going to off-road the bike to try and get out of the area. You'll get one more round to shoot if you want. After that, he'll be out of line of sight, or you can pursue and fire while pursuing.
I'll shoot. Try to get him.
Do you want to stop and shoot? Because that will eliminate 10 of the 20 penalty.
Yes, I'll stop and shoot.
Okay, go ahead.
001.
All right, roll 5d10.
$29.
Okay, that is a really vicious hit. And, you know, you pepper his back and his bike. A few of the rounds hit the helmet, opening up cracks. And you see the bike go down in the brush. And you see the bike start tumbling down the hill. And then he's out of sight. So you don't know if that was enough to kill him, but it was definitely enough to knock him off his bike and put him out of the fight.
I'll say to her, one of us should check on that guy. Why don't you check on the drivers?
You hear the engine whir on the truck, and the son kind of leans out the window and says, "Let's go, let's go!" And he starts lurching the truck back onto the road to make the last of the bit of the run for the town.
I guess we're going. All right.
Okay. So you get to the town, and the townspeople are happy to see the truck coming up the road, and you see some of them come out, and they're armed with shotguns and auto rifles. It looks like a makeshift town militia. Mm-hmm. And as the Yazarians pull up on bikes, some of them immediately lower the weapons, but the truck kind of like honks a few times, and because they don't know if the truck, if you guys are pursuing the truck or escorting it, but they quickly really realize you're escorting it. Mm-hmm. So the townspeople gather around when the truck stops. The guy takes his father out. You know, he slumps to the ground. You see the kid's a little panicked, but it turns out you can tell from his breathing that he hasn't been shocked. He's been stunned. So they tell the kid, you know, don't worry, Doc Steele will patch him up. He's only knocked out. He'll come to in a few. He said, they're like, "Are you all right? Is anybody hurt? Is anybody hurt?"
Scrapes, bruises, all good.
Okay, great.
Well, as far as I don't know about her. I haven't actually asked her how she is yet.
No, actually, you've that fall you lost 5 points, and your skin suit lost 5 points.
Okay.
I mean, you literally wiped out on the bike. So,
yeah.
The kid thanks you, and he says, "I just want to unload this cargo and, get back down the hill. Get my dad woken up." So the townspeople are all asking, what happened? How's everyone? Were you attacked? Is anybody hurt?
Give them the details. A couple of humans on bikes with military skin suits, communication device between them. Did they look military? Did they look like just ruffians?
They had military skin suits, but they weren't wearing a uniform you recognized.
Okay.
So the town head people come over. It's a pair of Rusk and a human, and they were like, "Thank you for helping escort this. We were really starting to get short on some essentials since the siege began, and we're deathly low on medical supplies. We've been experiencing these attacks for a few days now, and we've had some people hurt. So if you can help unload these at Doc Steele's, we'd like to talk to you, the two of you, before you leave."
Sure, why not?
Okay, so most of these supplies are for Doc Steele. They direct you. I will put up a kind of a map I found that I think would be representative.
Mm-hmm. I have a hard time sharing files with it.
There, I didn't do it.
Good. All right.
So here is the kind of layout of the plantation area. So these are, you guys are coming in on this road. You're passing, farmhouses and processing buildings, and all of these are very large shady trees. And you see underneath all of the trees are planted like vineyard vines. Mm-hmm. It's for special plants that grow in the shade. So you see fruit in the trees above and berries on the bushes below. So you're directed to this building in the center of the community, which is actually the town infirmary.
All right, time to unload.
Okay, you start unloading, and a robot comes out. It's got a humanoid torso and almost like tank treads instead of legs. And it's got 4 legs, and he comes out and he says, "Splendid, splendid. I hope no one was hurt coming in." And the kid says, "My father's knocked out cold. Can you take a look at him?" And he goes over, and the robot revives them and says, "Oh, thank you for bringing the supplies." And he says, "Are you Doc Steele?" And the robot goes, "Yes." And he goes, "All right, you need to sign for these." So it turns out that the robot is the one who placed the order.
The robot is the doctor.
What?
Is the robot? No, the robot's not the doctor.
The robot is the doctor.
Oh, it is the doctor. Oh, okay.
Robot,
Doc Steele.
Yes.
Got it.
So the building looks as if it's a different style than the rest of the town and a lot older, but in very good repair. And Doc Steele looks over at you and says, "Why don't I patch you up before you finish unloading the supplies?"
If you have the time, sure.
He says, "It's what I do, friend. It's what I do." And he administers first aid and closes up your wounds. And then he starts directing the four of you onto where to put the medical supplies. And inside, you see that there's an infirmary set up and several people being treated for burns and several others. There are people here under medical treatment that look like they've been wounded, recently. And he's directing you where to put the medical supplies. And you see what remains in the trucks are a lot of staples and actually ammunition and a box of Tangler grenades.
Huh. That's not really medical.
Like shotgun ammunition, automatic rifle ammunition, a pack of like a dozen military skin suits. So he says, "This is my order." The Doc Steele says, "This is my order. You'll have to have the mayor sign for the rest of this stuff." And the human guy goes, "No problem." And before the human leaves to go get his signature, he says, "We promised the two of you 150 credits. Should we settle up now?"
It looks to me like you guys need a little more assistance than this. What's with these people in the infirmary here, all burnt and such? Is this due to the attacks happening?
The trucker whispers to you. He says, "Not my circus. It's not my circus. No offense.
Yeah.
Once I get my signatures, my son and I are out of this war zone. I appreciate you. I appreciate you helping us get here, but they're only stopping trucks delivering supplies, not leaving empty."
Okay. Easy enough. I mean, when I look at her, does she like wave away like the cash, or is she happy to take it?
She's leaving that up to you. She saw that you were waving it away and decided not to argue.
Well, you know what? We'll just take the money. Take the gas. Take money for gas. How's that? Gas and a few bullets.
Okay. You take it. He gladly pays it. And you see the mayor come and start arguing with these guys. You can approach to eavesdrop if you want, or roll a perception to listen.
Well, I'd say we sort of ease over a little bit, try to not make it look obvious like we're trying to do the sly thing.
The mayor is asking if they would deliver some of their goods out of town before it goes bad and take it to one of the sellers that they have working for them in the next town, and possibly take the wounded. And the truckers are steadfastly refusing. They say, if we try and take anything out of this, they'll stop us again. He goes, the only hope I have of getting out of here without the escort is leaving with an empty cab. So he's like, I've had enough. I'm sorry. This is all the help I'm willing to give right now. So the mayor says, we can pay you double. He goes, it's not the money. He goes, we almost wiped out. If it hadn't been for those two, we wouldn't have made it. He goes, I'm sorry. So he goes, I understand, friend, I understand. And he looks over at you and comes over and he says, I wish it could be under better circumstances, but He smiles. He smirks. And he goes, "Welcome to Zen'Java."
Hop in place.
I wish it wasn't. He says, "My name is Stefan.
Introduce ourselves.
I'm the head man here. As you can see, we're in a bit of a pickle. Are you two for hire? I heard that he'd hired you to escort the truck."
We're on vacation, actually. But what are you needing? You need some things delivered elsewhere?
He says we've had attacks. Jetcopter attacks on some of the outer farms. So far we've lost 4 people. All of our transmissions are being jammed, and even if they weren't, the authorities would take 3 days to get here. We've received one cryptic message from these marauders to hand over someone called the Butcher, some doctor, but we don't have, Dr. Slavin. But there's no one here by that name. We've tried to tell them that, and they're not listening to it. They're not hearing it. So every couple of days, they come in with jet copters, burn some crops, burn out somebody's farmhouse, and then leave just as quickly. We're all militiamen. Everyone on the planet is, but most of us are retired. A lot of us are too young to have gone for training. What is it? So we could, if the two of you are hired guns, we'd be in the market.
I look at her, and we probably should have developed some hand gestures, like nod the head a certain way means yes.
She says, "Why are you so?" She says, "Why are you so concerned? I'm pretty sure they don't speak Yazarian."
True. Okay, well then I'll converse with her in Yazarian. Although I apologize. It's our first language, and then discuss with her, like, what do you think about this? I mean, Dr. Slavin. I don't say Dr. Slavin. I'll say this doctor. This seems a little fishy.
She says, "Well, of course it's fishy. You've got armed mercenaries guarding the road. They're attacking this. No offense to the people around here. This little farming mountain place in the middle of nowhere. Of course it's fishy. The question is, do we care,
or do we just want to make a little extra money?"
Well, I am a mercenary. I could always use a little extra money, but as you said, we're on vacation. So I'm going to leave this.
This is kind of like vacation. I'd say this.
Well, yes, it's kind of like vacation. This is what we do. Oh, it's not what I do.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to stick around for a couple of days and see what happens. I've got plenty of ammo.
All right. That sounds like fun to me. Let's do this and see where it leads, because we can always hop on our bikes and take off.
That is true. Okay, so the mayor says, "So have you decided? Will you stay and help us?"
Yeah, we can do this. We can assist us. Make a few questions, though. We might have a few questions. Like,
of course. What can we tell you? She says we have about a dozen armed militiamen, but we're spread pretty thin. They're sporting some pretty hefty firepower, and they've got a pair of jet copters that come in on raids.
Do you know the direction they come from?
They seem to be flying in from the northeast.
Okay. Anything in that direction?
Not much, and there's not many places they could be operating a jet copter out of. There's a few, but I haven't had the men to try and backtrack to where they're based out of.
Okay.
It's definitely at higher elevation because they're watching the road.
Right. And we can't really just pop up there for a look, not having a flying vehicle of any kind.
Right, right.
This is interesting. Okay, all right. And what is it you need transported again? I pretend I didn't hear him before, like I pretend I wasn't listening.
Basically, it's nothing you could take out on your bikes. They raise they raise the Star Frontier's equivalent of bananas and coffee beans.
Okay.
I've always found it fascinating that if you want to spot a coffee plantation, look for banana trees, because coffee beans only grow in shadow. So they plant banana trees over the coffee field, and then they get 2 crops.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know. Coffee's. I'm a coffee nerd, so that's pretty fucking cool. Anyway,
pretty neat.
So this is basically a mountain that makes coffee and fruit. A mountain village that grows coffee and fruit.
Okay.
So he invites you for coffee and banana bread.
And I'll
They're
ask
all
him,
eating banana bread because they've got so many bananas that they can't ship out, and they're worried about them going.
To do something with them before they go bad. Have the conversation they've had with these marauders? How is the messaging come into them?
We've gotten a few radio transmissions from wherever they're based out of, which means that they've got to be within 100 kilometers.
100 kilometers. Okay.
The guy who appears on the message, he's an older human. He's got a cybernetic eye. He gives his name as checks his pad of notes. Franco Hudson.
Franco Hudson. Okay.
And he says that that he and his men won't be leaving the area until we turn over the butcher, Brian Slavin.
Brian Slavin.
Dr. Brian Slavin, and calling him the Butcher.
And there's only one doctor in town, and it's your robot doctor.
Right, and he's been here since before we were here.
He doesn't go by Brian, I'm assuming.
No, he didn't even have a name until we gave him one. We've always just called him Doc Steele. He says, we kind of found this village during the resettlement after Circe was being repopulated. So, we're not squatters. We have legal right to be here. We pay our taxes, but this was an abandoned plantation camp, and the only building that still had power was the infirmary. And when we went to check it out, Doc Steele came online, asked if any of us needed help, and he's been with the community ever since. He recharges himself. He even orders his own medical supplies. Okay. Damn good doctor. Pretty much everyone in town owes him one bit or another.
And he's fully robotic. He's not cyber. He's not half human or anything like that. He doesn't have a human.
I'm not an expert. I couldn't tell you.
Okay. But, I was thinking I was just asking GM, like, looking at him. He's not cybernetic. He's not half human.
Make an identify robots roll. Do you have any robotic skill?
That? Well, I have no robots. I have martial arts.
You can't tell if Doc Steele is actually a cyborg and not just a robot, but he appears completely robotic.
Okay. All right. Well, so the logical thing, I'll ask him, what does he think the law? Does he think
I think the guy with the cybernetic eye patch is a lunatic. I mean, he goes, look, I love my hometown. I love living here. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but this isn't the place that armed mercenaries lay siege to. Sure, the coffee's good, but they're not even asking for it. They're asking to turn over some, 85-year-old human doctor. He goes,
"Oh, they've given an age. Have they given a photo or anything or any
they said he'd be about 85 now. None of us know what the hell he's talking about.
Okay.
He says, I know everyone that age here. There's only 4 human males that age, and I guarantee you none of them are doctors.
Okay. Adds to the mystery. And there's these structures were all here when you moved here, or at least a majority of them.
We had to tear most of them down and rebuild them. So these are all fairly new. The only building that hasn't been redone is the infirmary. That's all original. And that looks like it was reinforced.
Okay. There's no underground structures or anything like that?
Not that we're aware of.
Okay. All right, just making sure they don't have a way to sneak into the town. Well, drink our coffee. We've taken
Okay, you're drinking your coffee, and then suddenly you hear a bell ringing. Like ding, 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 ding. And there's in the center of town, there's a watchtower, and the guy fires a flare from the watchtower to the east. So I'll put the map back up while I cover the adventure. So you're kind of here in the mayor's house, and the flare goes off like this way.
Okay.
Which one's and you see like
again? Sorry, which?
This one, the brown one.
Okay, the brown one. Okay, got it.
And the flare kind of goes this way towards these trees. And you hear, now you can hear rotor blades.
Oh boy. Okay, we should probably get to some place where there's good cover where we can.
Okay, so she smiles and hops on her bike. She still has the laser rifle on her back.
She's ready to go. Okay.
And she says, "You coming?" and starts down this road.
I follow her blindly. Jump on my bike.
Okay.
For bear.
You guys get here by this tree. And she says, "I'm going high," and then just hops off the bike and starts climbing up the tree with her laser rifle. And you can see the 2 helicopters coming in to drop off a squad of men.
Is it nighttime yet, or is it daytime still?
No, it's still daytime. It's still It's like late afternoon.
My helmet has a combat helmet with the shield, so I obviously can see.
Right. Okay, and you see people running out of this house and up the road, and you hear militia people rushing towards the area.
How many?
You can't tell.
Oh, okay, sorry. So, how many people are getting to the helicopter? That's what I meant to ask. Oh,
so do you run around the house? Because the helicopter's landing here.
I run to a place, where I can get view, where I maybe...
So you run this way, and you see the helicopter has dropped 4 Vrosk and a human.
Oh, boy. Okay.
And now I have to have my adventure to look at it.
Yep, I screenshot it. I wish I had actually listed off what I was carrying with me from all my gear.
Well, we can say that you have all of it.
Oh wow! Okay. Well then, I'm gonna ready.
Except the heavy machine gun belt and anything ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous stuff. Because I want my spear and my power for it.
Okay. So the 3 Vrosk fan out, and they've got Gyrojet Type 2s. They have the mid-size, almost the what's the word I'm looking for? The Gyrojet carbides, the short assault rifle Gyrojets.
Yep, carbine. Yep.
And they start fanning out to offer security. The human gets out. He's kind of directing the 3 Vrosk. So what do you want to do? The human's got an electrostun or a short range rifle, but he's ordering the Vrosk to fan out and surround that house.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming I'm still out of view, or I'm trying to stay out of view.
They haven't noticed you yet.
They haven't noticed me yet. Okay. Are they all staying within sight of each other? Is one close to me?
Yeah. No, they're all within sight of one another.
Okay. Well, I'm going to toss a doze grenade, the closest one to me.
Okay. Roll.
That's a 42.
Do you hit?
Rolling against? What do I roll against for that?
That would be your throw. Or the thrown weapons. Hold on. I think I still have your character up here. You have no ranks in thrown weapons, so it's going to be half of your dex.
Okay, well then that won't matter.
That'd be 24.
My dex is, yeah, I didn't make that. So I tossed a dose grenade into the blue. Just went over their heads.
All right, so I'm going to roll the drop. I'm going to say that you were tossing it at the nearest one. But if the dose grenade takes a weird bounce, you may catch the middle guy. Okay, so here's the thing. None of the Rusk have gas masks, but the human does.
Okay.
Okay, so if you roll on a 10, if you roll a 2, a 3, or a 4, you will get one of them in a bounce. Not the one you were throwing at, but
5. Nope.
5. It lands behind them. So that doesn't work.
Okay.
And at that point, Jardax fires a careful shot from elevation, concealment, with the laser rifle, hits the human dead on. There's a bright flash, and he's also wearing an albedo screen.
Of course he is.
So takes no damage. The Vrusk fan out, seeing you. 2 of them run into the house. One of them runs for cover behind kind of like a farming vehicle. So you'll have -10 to hit him. Okay. And the human kind of backs up towards the jet copter and grabs onto the side of it and puts his feet on the skids. And you see he's like on the radio directing the other 2. And he's pointing you out.
Oh yeah. Yay. Okay. Well, one that doesn't have cover, I'd want to shoot at them and that one if I have a chance.
Okay. Well, 2 ran into the house.
Yep.
So of the Rusk, 2 are in the house. 1 is getting to cover. Did you want to shoot him while he's going to cover?
Yeah.
Or the human on the by the jet copter?
I'll leave him to her because she seems to have a better shot with the laser rifle.
Okay.
And I'll shoot a burst at the guy who's running to cover. The 1.
Go.
09.
Oh boy. Okay, give me 5d10 on that guy.
17. 29.
So that's going to be 15 to him, 14 to the skin suit. Okay, he's going to return fire at you, hoping to keep your head down.
Yep.
Not with an 80, he's not. Not with a 100, he's not. And with an 06, that's going to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So a gyrojet round hits you for 14 points. That'll be 7 for you and 7 for the skin suit. Please, God, tell me you're wearing a skin suit.
Military skin suit.
Very good. Okay. She's not going to fire again at the guy with the laser with the albedo screen because he's just resisting the laser with the defensive screen. So what she's going to do is she's going to kick up her SEUs to 15, which will drain the clip, and fire at the vehicle.
Nice. Good choice.
Let me... flying vehicle damage table. So why don't you roll 2d10 for her?
All right. 16.
Okay. So she was rolling 15 d10. So I think that's going to be 16 plus 15. But I want to be absolutely sure before. Okay, the number of dice is added. So it's 15 plus 16 on a flying vehicle. So that is 30. It's actually 31. Okay. The vehicle that the guy is kind of on, she hits that, and the engine immediately shuts down, and it's the rotor blade stops turning. So that's a forced landing. You've grounded that copter.
Good shot. Good shot. I yell into the mic.
And she says, but now I'm out. I'm reloading. You see all three of the Rusk come out of the farmhouse, and they start running for the remaining copter.
Okay. Well, we should do something about that.
The one guy who was there, kind of who fired at you last round, he'll be firing at you this round. But I think, is it your round to fire? He fired at him. He fired at you. So it's your round to fire.
Fired, yep. Well, I'll fire at him at -10. You said.
Right, because he's got cover.
41. Wait, that's not good enough. 41. Nope, because I need without. Oh,
if it's a burst, you get +20.
Oh, well then that's a hit for sure, because even at -10, that's still a hit. Okay, so roll 5d10.
5d10.
22, 27.
27, so that's
27.
going to be 13 on the suit and 14 on this poor guy. So that's going to be 29 points of damage on the Rusk behind the tractor. The other 3 Rusk come running out and immediately go running towards the copter. The human who was hanging on the one copter that the engines now failed abandons that copter and starts running over to the other copter. And so does the pilot. You see the plexi open up, and he hops out, and they all start running to the other copter. Nobody. This guy who you are in a shooting match with, he hits you once, misses once. That may hit. It may not. And it does. So he hits you twice. First shot doing 10 points. Oof. Second shot doing 13 points. So a total of 23. So 11 to you and 12 to the skin suit. And I think he has... Skin suit has 50 points.
All right. Is he breaking a run now again, or is he...
No, he's not.
He's holding cover. Ooh. Jerk. Okay. All right. Well, I guess what's my choice? My choice is to shoot again.
Okay, hold on. Let me see what she's doing.
Oh yeah, see what she's doing. Yeah, she's reloading.
Yeah, she was out. Oh, I'm sorry. She has a 50 SUE clip.
Oh.
And she has beam only 25, 35. Okay, she fires at the other jet copter and misses.
Darn it.
And that's 30, 35 SUEs out of that 50 clip. But that causes the jet copter to start to panic. So it starts slowly lifting off. And the 3 Vrusk and the 2 humans run even faster towards it.
Yep.
So the guy that's kind of trying to offer cover to everyone else fires 3 times at you.
Okay.
But I think you fired him first.
All
but
right.
You realize he's not breaking cover because he's offering cover from fire to everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing the honorable thing. All right. 23, that's a hit.
Okay. Give me damage.
6, 15, 22, 32, 34.
Wow, that's a lot. That's going to be 15, 16, 17 to him. He goes down.
Okay.
So he goes down. One of the 3 Vrusk running stops and goes to and pulls out a grenade.
Uh-oh.
And is immediately hit in the chest with a laser blast. 9, 18, 27 points of damage. So he's hit with 27. I'm going to roll his dex.
Yeah, well, it drops a grenade.
10. He does not drop the grenade, but nor does he throw it. So he's hit, and he basically retains the grenade. But his throw is way, way off. And a Doze grenade explodes harmlessly about 5 meters to your left. Okay, what happens now is that the human with the electrostunner, who seemed to be leading the raid, the 2 Vrusk that are not wounded, get into the jet copter, and the jet copter starts taking off, leaving the unwounded human pilot of the first jet copter, this wounded guy with the laser burn, and that other guy. Whereupon you start to see the town militia people firing automatic rifles at the jet copter, forcing it to flee the area. But at the same time, the building these 3 guys were in bursts into flames. It's like incendiary grenades on a timer go off, and the house is like a tinderbox in moments. And the human just puts his hands on his head and goes to his knees. And the Vrusk with the laser burn tosses the grenade, tosses the gyrojet, and puts his hands up, and the militia comes and captures them. And you hear on the mic, "You okay? You caught a few back there."
Yeah, I caught a few. Whose house was that? This confuses me.
Okay, and you see this family. They come back and they're crying, and they're like, "Everything we worked for, my photo albums are in there." It's this Rusk family, and they're extremely distraught. The mayor comes, and he says, well, now they've only got one helicopter. You guys have done an amazing job. Thank you so much. Let's get the doc over here. And you see the doc is already rolling up, and he rolls right past you, and he goes to the Rusk that is lying dying.
Yeah.
And stabilizes him. Because you only got him under a few points.
We're going to tie him up and question him, are we?
Doc comes over and he starts treating you. He goes, that was not my intention. I'm here to save lives. Yes. And then he goes and he treats the other wounded prisoner, and they take them. And you now see clearly that you're up close. They have an insignia on their uniforms. They have like on their patches.
Yeah.
And you see written in Rusk, because you can kind of read Rusk. You're a citizen, a solar miner. It's their unit is called the Vistic Rangers.
Vistic Rangers. Do you know what this means? I asked her if she ever heard of this before. The Vistic Rangers.
Let me reach out to some of my people. They're definitely a mercenary company.
Which means someone hired them.
When they marched the human pilot, they've got him in shackles and they've disarmed him. The townspeople are really they're saying we should string them up, we should shoot them. And the mayor's like, we're not savages. And the guy said, the human pilot who's shackled up, he says his name, he gives his name and A432112. He's giving his name and his serial rank, his serial number.
Yeah, social insurance number.
And he says, we've surrendered. We haven't killed anyone in this raid. And he says, but you've killed other people. And so the town people are really upset. And the mayor's like, let's get them into a cell before anybody gets lynched. And the militia quickly turns into a fire brigade to try and contain the fire, but the house is a total loss.
Okay, maybe we need to know whose house this. Well, we know whose house it was, don't we? But do we know who used to live here, or why did they attack this house? We need to question these guys.
Okay, you question them. Why don't you roll your? You don't have
interrogation skill. I don't have.
Well, there is a skill for interrogating prisoners.
I know.
In the agent thing, but I know you don't have that. So hold on. Oh, wait a minute. Does she have agent skills? Let me check. She might. She has. She has Detective 3. Okay. So she helps with the questioning. Detective 3. The skills on Detective, I think, are looking for clues, surveillance. All right, so let's say you're questioning. You've taken 2 prisoners, Rusk and a human in the raid. The one who was critically injured, he's not going to be able to talk for hours. He's undergoing major surgery now, but he's stable and he will live. So what do you want to ask the human prisoner? Or do you want to start with the Rusk?
Start with the human guy. He's probably not going to tell us much if he's a good, but yeah, we should start asking this guy, who's this? Who are they after? Who hired them? And who's this Brian, Dr. Butcher?
He says, we've been hired to help apprehend a war criminal.
Since when do you
He
guys
says,
care?
so you'll understand why our employer is very motivated to continue this operation, and he's very well funded. He says, my people will pay for our release at the end of hostilities. So, you know, but only if we're well treated.
That's not answering the questions.
I think that I have answered your question.
Who's this Dr. Butcher? The people here don't seem to know who you're talking about.
We've been told that he's a war criminal, that he was a Kitkur militia commander and an interrogator. They called him the Butcher because he would use his medical training to maim prisoners to get them to speak during the Discord of 79. The Discord of 79 was the very short-lived near civil war between Kitkur and Circe.
Okay. These people don't know. They have one doctor, and it's a robotic doctor. They don't know who you're talking about.
He says, look, our employer is sure that this man is here. He's followed the money trail. There are still open accounts to Dr. Slavin, and they're funneling money out of this area. Purchases are being made with the man's fortune. He's here.
Nobody's got any ability to buy or sell anything right now. You've cut them off. Do you have a photo? Do you have any information to help identify this guy?
He says, I will make you a deal. Let me contact my people, let them know, and allow me to tell them that I'm still alive and the other two are still alive as well. And I will try and get you a photo and negotiate a settlement. If you hand him over, my client is willing to pull the entire team out. But he's not willing to pull the entire team out until this man is handed over. It's personal.
Is the mayor present when we're doing this?
Yes.
Look at the mayor and say...
He's like, I have no objections. We just want this to end. He goes, the man is, we don't know who they're talking about.
So make it happen. Give the guy a radio.
Okay.
Hold a pistol up to his head.
So give him a radio, and he doesn't give any. He goes, I've been captured. He goes, Vinslet has been captured. He goes, Sarit has been very badly wounded, but they're treating her and she should survive. We've been well treated. We haven't been abused. They are adamant in saying they don't know who the doctor is, and they're saying he's not here. They're asking for a photo. Can you send that over? And they transmit a photo. And they would say, let me speak to who's in charge. And older female Russ comes on and speaks to the mayor and says, allow me to introduce myself. I am Vistik. These are my rangers. We really don't want to be here any longer than we need to, but we're being very well paid to extract this target. And if that means we have to keep assaulting your town to do it, we will. We're trying to keep this to property damage, but my men will defend themselves if fired upon. And he says, you're burning down families' houses and you've killed 3 people already. The man you're looking for is not here. We don't have a human male that age. We don't have a single, we don't have a doctor in town. And he says, well, then the Russ says, well, then I feel that we're in an impasse. Our employer is not going to let us leave until we have this man. And he says, we've taken coin. I am contract bound to see this to the end. So I can't pull my team out.
Photo would help.
They give you they send over the photo. They says, I will grant you 12 hours to make use of the photo. I will not launch an operation to recover my men. I will give you and your people a chance to think things over. and I will contact you within 12, and I will contact you 12 hours later. If you're not ready to turn over the fugitive, we're going to resume hostilities. Is this an acceptable? Do you understand the terms?
Like, we understand the terms, I'm sure. The mayor's going to speak for himself, but I'm in the background chirping away at him.
Okay. He says, we understand the terms. We'll speak to you in 12 hours. I'll keep my people from doing anything rash. You please keep yours from doing the same. He goes, my people will behave professionally there. No doubt. No, there's no doubt there. So you have your 12 hours. And the minute he gets off the phone, he looks to the two of you and he goes, now what the hell do we do?
Do we have any, do you have any database census information? Do you have anything in this we could look at to compare this?
He goes, the only real database is the computer in the medical bay, in the infirmary. It's as old as Doc Steele.
Well, maybe it's what we need to look at. Let's keep these guys under guard and let's head over that way.
Okay, it turns out that that Jardax has 3 levels in detective.
Oh, Jardax.
So she kind of cracks her knuckles and starts digging into the database. And several hours later, about 5 hours later, she says, calls you and the mayor in and says, I found some interesting video files. It was highly encrypted and buried, but it's still here. And she plays them, and it's a human man of about 60. Wait a minute. About 55. And he's recording this, and he says, the first place I came back to when resettlement began was this village, because it was some of the scenes of my darkest sins, and I've lived with that for many years. There's no one here now, of course. And then in further episodes of his video diary, you realize that this is Dr. Slavin. And he said that after the war, he says, I spent 7 years as a Sathar war prisoner, 2 years as a refugee. I've come home. I realized that I have a lot to atone for. So many good people died in the camps, and I lived. There was some measure of atonement, because while I was in the camps, I could use my medical skills to save people instead of hurt people. But now that we're all back in Solar Minor, all that's blurred. I really don't feel like I can live with myself now that I'm back here. But ending my own life would be too easy a way to escape the guilt. And I can't help feeling I can still help people. I'm still a doctor. So I've programmed the medical robots here to operate on me, and I'm going to get rid of Brian Slavin, and all that's going to remain is the doctor. They'll damage my brain, so I won't have any memory. I won't have any identity, and all that will remain is the doctor in me that wants to do good. These will be put into a cyborg, and I will leave it here. And if anyone ever comes here asking for help, I'll help them. The robot should have about 100 years of power. That might be enough time to atone for the things I've done. If anybody finds this, and I really hope they don't, consider this the last will and testament of Dr. Brian Slavin, and he flips the switch off.
I look at the mayor and say, it's your doctor.
He goes, Doc Steele is the butcher?
Well, he's a doctor. He's the doctor. He's obviously not the same person, but he has the same knowledge.
He says, and then you hear a robotic voice behind you says, well, that explains a few things.
Cats.
Because Because remember, the database is in the infirmary, which is where he always is.
And he can hear everything because he's a freaking robot with omnidirectional microphone ears. Every head turns and we're all like, "Hi, Dr. Steele, how you doing?" He doesn't like, he's not wielding like scalpels or anything. And,
no. He says, "Well, Mayor Stefan, I don't think you have much of a choice. I don't want anybody else to get hurt. I don't want any more buildings burned, not to protect me." And he goes, "Doc, everybody here owes you our lives. This whole settlement would have blown away 15 years ago if you hadn't been here propping us up in our weak moments." He goes, I don't want to turn you over to these mercenaries. He goes, "I don't see that you have a choice."
It's up to you guys.
So the mayor kind of pulls the two of you aside and says, "Look, I don't know who this Slavin was, but I know Doc Steele. And I'm not going to betray a friend.
Okay.
But I got to protect my people. Is there any chance that you can put an end to this?"
Doc Steele, heal me up.
He heals you to full.
Okay. Well, we need to find out where their base is. Or we need to bring them to us. Bringing them to us is going to cause more injury to the people who live here. So perhaps we should arrange for them to pick up their... Oh, well, they said they were going to return in 12 hours, didn't they?
They said they contact you in 12 hours.
Contact in 12 hours. Perhaps we should lay a trap for them. Tell them that we've discovered what happened, and perhaps give them some of the story you have now. Have them arrive. Don't tell them it's Doc Steele. Tell them it's another robot. I don't know. They tell them it's a cybernetic servant of some sort.
Jardax says they're mercenaries. They're not going to leave. He goes, they've been hired. The only way, he goes, how did you get us to stop when we came up against you, Thorga? Do you remember?
We shot at you guys until we made you stop.
No, our target got away.
All right. Okay. Well, that's true. That's true. Well, Doc, how fast can you run? So
she says that, look, I'm getting the feeling from these mercenaries, especially after they've lost a jet copter, that their expenses are racking up pretty high, and they'll abandon this if they've got half a chance. I don't know how much stomach they have in the fight. But they're not going to leave as long as they're being paid. If we can take out the one who hired them, they might walk away.
That's good thinking. That's why you're a detective.
Well, I'm also in the same line of work as these people.
Well, how do we find out who's paying them? Do you have contacts that you could get a hold of?
He goes, they've already told us it's the guy with one eye.
He's the one paying them. Sorry, I thought he was the leader of the mercenaries. Sorry.
No, the leader of the mercenaries is that Vrusk woman, the older Vrusk woman who got on the cam.
Right. Okay. But the guy who showed up and took off with the rest of them, he's the human. That's the
right.
Okay.
She says it's 100 kilometers away. And we have a jet copter if we can fix it.
Let's get at it. There's got to be a mechanic in this town that can assist us.
Okay, you find a mechanic that can patch up the jet copter. You find a...
Does music play? All this happens.
You find a pilot that can fly it. They were like, and she says, look, if we try and land in the middle of the camp, they'll probably shoot us down. But we can use the jet copter to get close to the camp and then approach on foot.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. They've got the jet copter going in about 3 hours.
Plus the 5 she took. So that's 12. Okay. We can make it.
Okay. So she gives you the maps and says, I think you have survival 1, right? So you're the outdoor ranger kind of guy.
I am.
So she asks, all right, show me where their camp is most likely to be.
I'll use my survival skills to pick that out. How's that? Do I roll for that?
Yes.
24. So that is within my
Okay, you find there's a open field in the about 60 kilometers from here. It's on it's on a very similar old plantation field, so it hasn't overgrown. That there's water, and it's large enough to operate, jet copters. So if you were going to have a forward operating base, that's where it would be.
All right. I say we land close by, as close as we can buy safely, sneak in, take out the copter if we can, then find the guy who's paying the bills.
Okay. All right. So the two of you reload, rearm, heal up. Unfortunately, they can't replace your skin suit because they're all humans and Rusts and you're Yazarian.
Yep.
The copter gets you within... how close do you want to get? A Yazarian can cover... How many in a mile? Hold on. What's your hourly movement? All right, I've got it here. Yazarians can cover 4 kilometers per hour.
And how long does it take for us to get there?
1 hour. So you're at the 10-hour mark. You've got 2 hours before they contact you.
It's drops about 5 kilometers away.
Okay. So you get with her within 100 meters of the camp. You see the clearing. You see that they've got electric lights. You can kind of hear people moving around camp. You see a jet copter and an explorer and a couple of pavilion tents with a generator outside. You smell food cooking. And what do the two of you want to do?
Well, do a perimeter check, see if there's a way in that's the most logical, that's out of view. See if there's any guard towers or watches.
Okay, while you do the perimeter check, I want you to make a dexterity roll.
17. That is a good one.
You come within 5 meters of a guy on patrol, but you manage to duck down and not be seen as he wanders by. You've timed, but this allows you to time him. So if you waited for him to pass, you'd probably have 20 minutes before anybody comes through this way again. So you've got like a 20-minute window to get into the camp.
Okay.
Hold on. Jardax says that she's an Overwatch person, so she'd like to take her laser rifle and get up in a tree overlooking the clearing. But I'm not going to be able to shoot into a tent or an explorer unless I see the human. I won't have a target.
Okay. I'll get him out in the open, or you'll find him out in the open, one or the other.
Do you want to sneak in and flush him out and then make a run for it?
Yes. That sounds like a reasonable plan.
She says the best way to do that, she says, did you bring any grenades?
I've got those grenades. I do.
She just
one less.
She just shakes her head, and she takes an incendiary grenade. And she goes, she says, I took this off the pilot. See if you can get it into the jet copter.
That I can try to do.
Excellent. The fire from the jet copter should bring everyone out. If I see a human, I'm taking the shot.
Excellent. Okay, I will do that. So I will try to find a way to sneak in. The safest darkest spot possible along the fence line.
Okay, roll your dex.
8.
Wow. All right, you get into the camp. You are by the explorer. Roll your. You figure one more roll and you'll get to the jet copter.
Dex?
Yeah, hold on. But roll
Okay.
roll a perception.
Perception. I'll roll these ones. 36. What's my perception? It's probably better than 36. My perception is 40.
You hear a human voice inside of the explorer.
Human voice. Okay. Is there a door open?
Well, there's the humans in Rusk are in here, but you peek in and you see this is where their radio is. There's one guy in here monitoring the radio. They're talking to he's talking to the guys on the roads. He's checking in. So this is kind of their radio command center. If you set off the incendiary grenade here, it would be such a commotion that it would draw everyone, but you'd set this guy on fire.
I have a doze grenade. I could always toss it in.
If it doesn't work on him, he'll raise the alarm. So you have to decide whether you want to go deeper into the camp to get to the jet copter to set that on fire, but then you'll have 2 rounds of running out of the camp as opposed to 1 round now.
These are mercenaries. They're just here for doing a job, but it's a bad job. Oh, I hate this. Okay.
Or you can try and sneak up behind him, use your martial arts, and hope for a knockout. It would have to be any roll that hits that ends in a 0 or a 1 or a 2. What's your martial arts?
A 2.
So it would be a 1 or a 2. And hold on, let me look.
So I have to roll a hit.
First, you'd have to hit. You'd have to roll a 1 or a 2. Your martial arts is 34. So a 1 or a 2, a 10, a 20, or a 30. That's slim.
Not gonna work. It's
slim.
Toss a grenade in.
The incendiary or the doze?
The incendiary.
The doze you won't need to roll a hit for the doze, but he'll get because it's an enclosed space. It's a closed vehicle, but he has a chance to resist.
Then I will use the doze because that's what I would. Thorag would probably rather do.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll his chance to resist. Not with a 69.
Good.
So he slumps on the console. The gas dissipates. You can drag him out and away, and then set this vehicle on fire with the incendiary grenade. You can actually set the incendiary grenade on a timer and then start dragging him away.
Like they did, yeah, okay. Like they did in the house, yes. Right. Okay, I'll do that. And I'll shut the door so nobody walks by and goes, "Hey, Bob's not at his post."
Okay, so you're dragging Bob away. Now he's Bob. And I need you to roll your dex.
Because he's heavy. 50.
Uh-oh.
Wait, what is my dex? I raised it, but what did I raise it to? 49. Oh my god.
He groans. Somebody sees a Yazarian dragging a human away, and they were like, "You there, hands in the air!"
He's been drinking tonight.
As the explorer explodes in a ball of flame, what do you want to do?
Drop him and run.
You drop him and run. The guy's gonna fire 3 gyrojet blasts at you. 33 hitting. 54. Oh my god, does that hit as well? Hold on. Oh no, that's the commander. Shit. Of course she'd hit, but thank God you're not fighting her. Yeah, that hits. 54 hits. And so you're hit 2 out of 4. Oh, lucky. 10, 15, 16. A total of 17 points. So,
against me.
Yeah. And it's halved.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Because you've got your skin suit, but give your skin suit that damage.
Okay, so the skin suit, I've already 24 has been hit on that, so it takes another 8 or 9.
9.
Okay.
Okay, so you hear run Thorga. She says, "I'm sorry, I can't cover you. I don't see a target yet. I'm scanning." And you kind of are moving out of the camp and getting back into the tree line, but now 2 other people will see you.
Of course they will.
And they're all going to open up, but you are a running target, so you've got -10. And you've got light cover because you're getting into the tree line. That's -20.
Yep.
But they all open up on you. So if you survive this, then we'll talk.
Okay.
So that's 58, 48, 38. We have a miss, and a miss. We have a miss, a hit, and a miss. So that is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 points.
So 7.
A hit, a miss, and a hit. How many points do you have left?
Hold on. My skin suit just took another 7, so hold on. That's we got 10 on my skin suit left, and I have 20 left on me.
Okay, and you've been hit twice, right?
Yep.
Okay, 9 on the first shot.
Oof.
So that's 4 to you, 5 to the skin suit.
Yep.
And how much do you got left? 8, 9, 12.
I got 5 in the skin suit left and 16 for me.
The skin suit's done.
Yep.
I hit 14, so the skin suit takes 5. That means you get 7, 8, 9. You take 10 points of damage.
Oh, I'm down to 6.
But you get into the tree line, dodging all of these gyrojet rounds.
Yep.
She says, she goes, she yells, stay down, because she sees you getting shot up. And you hear guys fanning out, saying, show us your hands, and you hear them kind of moving and kind of making a semicircle. They're not quite sure where you are.
I lay flat, as flat can be, like a chipmunk that's been attacked by a cat.
Okay. And she says, I still don't have a shot. She goes, and they surround you. You see them kind of pop out, and they say, drop it, show us your hands.
I'm laying flat, so I'm not holding on anything.
They disarm you, and they start bringing you back into camp. And as you're bringing you into camp, you see the burning explorer.
I did that.
And they're bringing you before a Vrusk, a female Vrusk with a heavy beam pistol and a very serious expression. And she sees you, and she says, "Let's get this man some medical attention. You've had a busy night."
Busier than I'm on vacation, just so you know.
Because you treated my people decently, and I'm assuming you're from Zen'Java, right? Yes?
I said I came from there today, yes.
Since you gave medical attention to my people, we'll give you medical attention. You'll be well treated. You've cost us. And you hear a human voice, and I come up like, what the fuck are you talking about? Shoot this bastard in the back of the head. Do you see what he's done to our community? You see what he's done to my explorer? And he goes, she looks back and says, what's the guy's name? She says, that's not the way my people act. And you see the guy she's talking to has a cybernetic eye, a cybernetic arm, and a cybernetic leg.
Can we go outside and talk?
And he says, he goes, bullshit, and he goes for his gun, and all of a sudden there's a laser blast. And it, like, a shot goes through his chest, and he, like, gasps once, falls to his knees, and, like, falls. And you hear in your head, in your helmet mic, give her the radio.
Hand her the radio.
And you hear her say, she looks over, she looks at him, says, pack it up, boys, show's over. And says, we're done here. Can we trade you for our people?
Yes, you can.
We'd like the jet copter back.
You got it. We'll call it in. We'd like a ride back. You got to pick up your own people, so.
All right, load them up. He says, your friend in the tree. I'm guessing she can find her own way back. I don't know if she's going to trust riding back with us.
I'd let yeah. We'll pick her up after the fact.
She says, I'm good. I'll start finding my way back.
Yep. It's good.
So you're flown, shot full of holes back to Zen'Java. And with the commander, the ranger commander.
All the way, probably.
And she just looks at you and says, that was quite daring. I'll have to talk to my people, especially whoever was on patrol last night.
Well, Bob's laying in the dirt, 100 feet away from the explorer, just so you know he's okay.
I appreciate that, that you removed him from the situation. It could have gone a different way. That's why I'm treating you with the respect I am.
Appreciate it.
And so you guys radio in. She says, this is Commander Vistik of the Rangers. We're coming in with your man. Our employer is dead. I'm pulling my team out. I'm coming with an extra. I would like my men to be ready to be released. We're going to take the jet copter back, drop your man off, and you won't see. And we won't be troubling you again. Is that agreeable? And they say yes. And you see the whole militia is there with guns drawn. She doesn't even flinch, and her people come running out. The other human who was talking to you, was the pilot. He pilots this jet copter. You see the guy that you were trading a gunfight with.
Yeah. Kind of
come. His friend is helping him. He's limping over, and he looks over at you and just does like that. It's almost like no hard feelings. This was never personal.
Yeah, that's right.
And those two jet copters take off, go back to their camp, and they go out with a hover cycle and they pick up Jardax.
Yep.
In the area. And the town is thank you so much. I mean, you did so much for us. I don't know how we can ever repay you.
Could your doctor tend to my wounds? That would be nice. Start.
So, of course, Doc Steele patches you up good as new. And he says, I appreciate what you did for me. I wish I didn't know who I was. I guess that was the whole point, but I appreciate what you did for me. That's not who I am anymore.
But is someone else going to come looking for you later on? You might be a threat to these town people if that's going to happen.
I wouldn't know where else to go or what else to do.
Just be prepared.
And She says, and Jardax comes over and says, "You might be a really great doctor, but you're absolute crap at money laundering." She says, "Let me help you. Let me help you set up some dummy accounts so they can't trace your money back here."
Good plan.
And he like thanks her, and at the end of the day, you know, they're simple farmers, and they've got a lot of stuff they need to rebuild. They've had like 3 buildings burned down, and they've got some dead to bury. But they load your saddlebags up with like premium Blue Mountain coffee that you can enjoy it for months. It'd be like a year's supply of like the best coffee that this village can produce, or you can sell it for like 500 credits.
I'll take the coffee. This is awesome.
So you head out with like
so much coffee.
with so much coffee. Literally, you could trade 1 pound of coffee for like a gourmet meal and a night stay somewhere, and each one of you has like 40 pounds of coffee. Literally, it's like a 40 pound. You know, you have 20 pounds each. So that's what they would pay you with.
That's awesome. We'll take
it.
All
right.
It's a vacation.
All right, and you get to the seashore.
We've made it. Now we have to turn around and go back.
She says, "I'll get on a boat. I'll get on a boat and sail the rest of the way back." All right, so that is your Showdown at Redemption Ridge. The village is the mountain range is like the Redemption Ridge. That's where the village was found.
Yep, excellent.
So I went full Western. I couldn't help it. I couldn't come up with an idea, and I'm like, you know what? I know he likes motorbikes. He's kind of got that other Yazarian. I'm going to go full Western. I'm going to go, you know, a town, Magnificent Seven, the whole, and I'm like, all right, I'll make it work.
This was great.
All right. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. So, you know, everyone out there, thanks for joining us. This is the last of our 6 adventure series. So this was 6A, 6B. This here is 6C. We'll be resuming the show probably in late August, early September, where we will be bringing on some new players to join our trio of Thorga, Harland, and Lormo. We've got people already lined up who are going to be dropping in and maybe staying a while. So some changes coming up for Citizens of the Star Frontiers, but it's all good things. All right, so everyone, enjoy your summer. We'll be back probably closer to Labor Day, or at least posting our first new shows at the end of August. And stay safe until then. Thank you.